As-salamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well, inshallah. Today I am finally doing the most requested video I've gotten ever since I did that why I converted to Islam video, and this video is going to be talking about how I told my parents that I converted to Islam. Now, a lot of you guys have approached me and I've gotten like an overwhelming amount of feedback from that conversion video, and I thank every single one of you. Honestly, you've made my journey to Islam so much easier, hearing your story and how you found Islam. And it's like a little community here on YouTube and on my social media stuff when you guys, private message me and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Keep doing it. I will answer all your questions and stuff like that. But this particular topic about how I told my parents I was a Muslim, I wanted to do it much earlier because obviously it's been a few months now, but I also had to think about my own family, my situation and stuff like that. Everything was very new, everyone was still adjusting, so I wanted to wait for the right time to talk about these things to the public, you know what I mean? I actually have my diary here with me. Yes, I still keep a diary at almost 22 years old, but I wrote everything that happened that night on this piece of paper, so that I remember, because it's been a few months, and when I wrote this it was the night itself, so the memories are very fresh and vivid. So yeah, I'm gonna go through this with you guys, so if you're interested in learning how I told my parents that I converted to Islam, then please just keep watching. So the situation at home was already pretty tense, just because, my parents aren't stupid. They know I was hiding something. And I was just trying to look for any excuse not to go to any Christian or Catholic thing like church, going to prayer meetings, going to confession, any of that. I would just say, look, I'm busy that day, no I can't do that, I'm doing this, no I already committed to this, and stuff like that, and it would frustrate them, and that's obviously like a normal thing, no parent wants their kid to lie to them, and they know when you're lying to them. And we would always have fights about missing church and all of that, and it got to a point where I was just like, no, I've been doing this for a few years now, and I'm so tired. I was just so exhausted with lying. I hate lying to my parents, and like, hiding a very big part of myself to everyone. I had to put up this front like I was something else, when this is who I am, you know what I mean? I was undercover wearing the hijab as soon as I leave the house, and I was so scared. I was always looking over my shoulder to see, oh my god, maybe I know that person, maybe that person knows my parents, they'll tell them that I'm wearing the hijab and stuff like that. So doing that for a few years, you can imagine like how exhausting it was. So one day I was just like, you know what, no, I can't live like this anymore. At the time, Tanzim wasn't actually in the country. If you don't know who Tanzim is, go to my social media, you'll find out all about him. Or if you watch my videos, you'd know about Tanzim as well. Anyways, he was in Australia, and I was telling him, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna tell my parents, this is getting ridiculous. I have to be open about this. And he was like, okay, I get you, but don't YOLO this. Wait for me till I come back to New Zealand, and then we'll like sort out a plan to tell your parents and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that is the smart thing to do, because I don't know what I would have done if Tanzim wasn't in the country. One of the most amazing parts about this whole thing, like there was a lot of amazing parts about this, but one of the most amazing part was the fact that as soon as I decided that I was going to be open about this, all the fear, all the anxiety, and just any negative feeling was gone. It was absolutely gone. I wasn't scared, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, you'd think that all those feelings would come at that time because you're going to confront something that you've been dreading for a very long time. But at the moment I decided that I was going to do it, all of it was just completely gone. I'm reading from my diary right now, and during that day it specifically says, "It was so strange as I felt no worry and no nerves even days before this planned date. I started worrying about not worrying, thinking something was wrong with me. Tanzim had a theory that Allah blesses us with courage when we need it most. He was right." I know that may sound very cheesy to some of you, but I can't explain the situation better than that. It was just this like unknown, never seen courage in me that was just like, no, everything is going to be okay. There's nothing to worry about. I'm going to do it, and inshallah it is going to be fine. And that was just, you know, what I lived by during that moment. We had to expect and plan for the worst, and that's just how we went about it. I thought that I was going to get kicked out of the house and my parents would not want to talk to me whatsoever. So leading up to the date that I set to tell my parents, I made arrangements like changed my bank account details, changed my mailing stuff, and I made living arrangements with a friend of mine in Hamilton, which is, you know, an hour away from where I live. And yeah, so I did all of that. I was prepared if things were to go sour. And the night, actually no, the day before I planned to tell my parents, I packed clothes already. I packed it in my country road bag, and it was like, I think 2 weeks worth of clothes, or a week, I can't remember. Either way, I packed clothes so that I have something to wear if ever they kick me out. I had spoken to my dear friend Nuran, who again, if you follow me on social media, you would know who Nuran is. She's been in a few vlogs as well, so if you watch my videos then you would have a clue who Nuran is. She's a very good friend of mine, and I spoke to her, and she offered her place, and you know, she also offered to stay outside. Same with Tanzim, so there were 2 cars outside my house that night. So the big day finally came, and I woke up very, very early in the morning. I was super duper excited, I think was the emotion I was feeling. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Because, you know, usually, well, for me anyways, when I wake up, I like lounge around in the bed for a while, look at social media, and like relax, even though I just slept. But this time around, I remember like as soon as I opened my eyes, I hopped out of bed and started my day straight away. Going by what's in here now, apparently, I woke up, took the dog out, ate, watched an episode of Pretty Little Liars, because that's what you do, and then did my chores. I remember Tanzim coming around as well. Yep. Yeah, so Tanzim came amidst all of that, nervous as ever. We had some Texas chicken to calm his nerves down because we both love Texas chicken. And we also went for a long walk with Joyce, our dog. When we went to the mall, I remember seeing this beautiful teacup set, and my mom loves things like that, so I ended up buying it for her, and then like anything to simmer like the situation down, right? And then when I came home, I made my dad oatmeal cookies because those are his favorite. And yeah, I did all my chores. I like scrubbed the deck and cleaned both bathrooms upstairs, and Tanzim left around 5 p.m. and waited nearby. So he left and came back, and he was parked like down my street. So my family finally came, and that's kind of when the nerves kind of started to kick in. I remember going upstairs and taking a shower to calm my nerves down, and I remember crying in the shower. I know it's so cliche, crying in the shower or whatever. And I did my wudu, and I started praying, and I remember in the middle of my prayer, I started to cry as well, and I was, you know, asking Allah for help, to give me the courage, give me the strength to be able to do this today. I don't want to prolong it anymore. I want to do this today, but obviously it was a very hard task, and I told him I needed his help. So I went downstairs and I started to talk to Mom, who I pre-warned in the morning. I gave her a text and said, you know, I want to talk to you about something tonight. She was cooking at that time, and yeah, I wrote, tears uncontrollably fell down my face even before I began. Finally, I started with how I've spoken to her about questioning my faith. I told her I lost my faith in God when I was young, but I found it 3 years ago, only I didn't find it in our religion. Obviously that conversation was very heavy, so she ended up stopping everything she was doing in the kitchen and going upstairs with me and talking in my room, and in general she was just very disappointed. And before we even carry on here, I just want you guys to understand and know that my mother had every single right to feel the way she felt. Like, you know, look at it from her perspective. She's a mom, I'm her child, and I all of a sudden decided to change to a different religion. Picture that situation in your life if your kids decided to do something like that, so that you'd understand where my mom is coming from. She had every right to feel the way she felt. So yeah, I don't want to hear any criticism towards my mom, because she had every right to do that. I was expecting this conversation with my mom to go smoother than my conversation with my dad. So when I was talking to my mom and it was not going in that path, I was a bit overwhelmed. When she left the room, I just burst into tears, and like I felt, I can't explain how I felt, honestly. I called Tanzim straight away and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I thought my mom would be, you know, the conversation would be much easier with my mom. So if it went like this, you know, what is it gonna be like with my dad? And I was very scared. And at that point I wanted to do the cowardly thing and just take off. You know what I mean? Like, I was tired of hiding, but I was scared of being open about it. Like, I don't know how else to explain that to you guys. So I was just like, you know, I just want to go and tell them, you know, from afar or in a letter or something like that. I wanted to do some dramatic stuff like that. But I knew it wasn't the right thing to do, and so I sat and I prayed once again for Allah to, you know, give me the strength to do this. And yeah, literally after I finished my prayer, I hear my dad going upstairs and saying that he was about to go to sleep. And at that moment I was just like, no, like, I can't go through another day keeping this a secret. What I did was I prayed the Ayatul Kursi again, and then I found the will somehow to just get up and rush to his door, and I didn't even knock or anything. I just like opened the door and I started crying. I just fully started crying, and Dad, of course being Dad, his instinct was to just get up and like open his arms and be like, you know, what's wrong? What's the matter? Oh, it's been like months. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. But anyways, I at the time I actually didn't even realize I was crying. It was only until, of course, I saw my dad's face and he took my hands and he put it on his chest and asked me, you know, what's wrong? What's the matter? Tell me. I was sobbing at that point, so I wasn't even able to like speak properly, but I managed to like compose myself and said, look, I have something to tell you, but it's going to break your heart. I was straight up about it. I looked Dad in the eye, and yeah. I started the conversation off the same way I did with my mom. I told him that I've been looking into Catholicism, and I've been looking outside Catholicism, and I lost my faith and I found it, only I didn't find it in Catholicism, I found it in Islam. I was very straightforward with Dad. It was very easy to talk to my dad. He was very calm. He asked a lot of questions, but he maintained his calm. He was asking a lot of respectful questions, and you know that he's genuinely interested in hearing, you know, what I had to say and my explanation and all of that. After I explained myself to the best of my ability at the time, to him in regards to converting to Islam and everything, I offered to leave, and I did that because his house. He's the one, feeding me. It's, his rules, his house, and all of that. And I didn't want there to be, this awkward conflict between me and my family. So I offered to leave, to let things heal and stuff like that. And he thought that that was such a ridiculous, suggestion. Like, he just completely shunned that suggestion out the roof. He was just like, no, like, how can you even think of, making a suggestion that way? You belong here in this house. Dad just looks at me, because this entire time, we actually lost eye contact. I wasn't looking at him, he wasn't looking at me. We were both kind of just listening, you know what I mean? And so there was this moment, and he was just like, and I'm never ever going to forget his words, because it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. My dad looks at me and he says, God is ultimately good. If good is what you believe in, whether you call him God or Allah, then I won't antagonize anything that you do. I was absolutely speechless because of how it went. Like, I wasn't expecting that reply from my dad. Like I said, I thought that, I was expecting the worst. I thought I was gonna get kicked out. I thought they'd never want to speak to me again, never want my siblings to speak to him again, especially Chelsea, and that was my biggest worry. I was so shocked. For some reason I managed to like speak up, and I started to express, how I wanted to wear the hijab, and I was worried with how people are going to take that, because obviously my dad has male friends, and if they come to the house, I have to wear the hijab, and it's going to be more obvious. The change is gonna be bigger. Yes, bigger, with me wearing the hijab, because not only did my belief change, my appearance will also change. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be that much more difficult to adjust, because belief is knowledge, and you can't really see someone's belief just by, looking at them, until you wear something like this, the hijab, which, obviously, where everyone who would see someone wearing like this would know that she's a Muslim. You know what I mean? We were speaking in our language, and I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, "Puro sakit ka talaga sa ulo, pero wag ka na mag-alala doon. Leave them with me." Which basically means, like, you're full of headaches, but don't worry about any of that. Leave it with me. After we had our talk, I remember my dad just opening his arms so wide, and I just frantically embraced him, and I didn't let go for so long, and I just started crying, and it was pure, like, tears of joy because of how happy that moment was. Like, my dad accepts me, and that's, before this even, this night happened, I've been looking at conversion videos and their story and stuff like that, and as you can imagine, like, not everyone will have like a happy story to tell. A lot of them, got kicked out and all that stuff, and for me to be there hugging my dad he didn't only just say, yeah, I accept you. He put his arms around me, he held me, and I was crying, and I have no words for that experience. Like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced in my life. That amount of unconditional love that my dad showed me at that moment was just, it was beautiful. We were just frozen in that moment for the longest time, and he just held me so tight, and I just didn't want to let go either, and I like blurted out that I loved him, and yeah, it was a really, really beautiful moment. Alhamdulillah. After that conversation, I just felt so light. I could fly. Like, this weight was just lifted off my shoulders, and I was so happy. I don't think I've ever been that happy ever. Like, not that I can remember anyway. I was just so happy, And yeah, I had a family meeting that night while I was outside getting my clothes, and my little brother said that they gathered, my dad gathered all of them in the garage and explained everything to them. I'm referring back to what I wrote that night, and apparently my dad, according to my brother, my dad said that if we can't accept her, then what chance does this world have? If someone's own family can't learn to coexist and function because of a disagreement in belief, then this world has no chance. Honestly, the amount of wisdom that my father has is an absolute blessing. And I remember, because I was like at the kitchen at the time, I had already come back, and when they finished, and I was at the kitchen at the time, and I don't know what the hell I was doing, but my older brother just came from behind me and he hugged me and he said, you know, I love you no matter what you believe in, and that I'll always be his sister. And yeah, it's just a really, it was the most amazing outcome I could possibly ask for. That outcome, I couldn't even think of an outcome like that at the time, and so when it happened, like, Alhamdulillah, that's all I can say, honestly. This happened in the 30th of July and 2015, and now it's February. What is the date today? It's the 10th of February 2016. So it's been a few months, and you know, Alhamdulillah, I have no complaints. There are, you know, awkward moments sometimes and things that, you know, people, you know, there were a lot of adjustments to be done, that were done, sorry. But now it's like old times, like it's very normal. I just wear this when I go out. When I'm at home, I have my hair out. And yeah, like, it's just full acceptance from my family, and I couldn't be more thankful and happier about the outcome. It's the best outcome. I actually have a photo of the first day I was able to openly wear the hijab out without fearing, you know, anyone seeing it. I took a photo of it. It's on Instagram. Now, especially in the summer where it's very, very hot, and it becomes very hard to wear the hijab, I always think back at that moment, and you know, it just gives me so much strength and so much pride in being able to wear this, because it reminds me of like how hard it was to be able to wear it. You know what I mean? Like what I went through just to be able to wear the hijab. It's obviously the same about religion. When it gets hard, obviously I'm on the internet and I get a lot of criticism, and sometimes it gets a lot, and not only on the internet, there are problems, you know, here in real life, and you know, sometimes it gets very, very tough, but that whole experience has just given me, you know, a new outlook in life, and it's strengthened my Imaan so much, obviously. Moments like this, you honestly see who your true friends are. Like, Nuran was outside my house. It was her and Tanzim outside my house at the time, and if you didn't know, Nuran has she has a baby. She's a very new mom, and she's busy with the baby, with the house and everything, and she was able to come that night to help me and everything, and yeah, it's just so thankful to her, honestly. She is the sweetest ever, and she was always there for me leading up to that day as well, because I would ask her a bajillion questions and she was always happy to answer them, and she was always there for support, and she's just a very, very true friend. Nurhan, if you are watching this, I love you so much. May Allah bless you and your family. Like, you are such an amazing role model, and I'm so happy to have a friend like you, because I swear not a lot of people are that blessed. And yeah, I'm just very, very thankful that you were there that night. I'm getting so emotional in this video. The entire Hamade family as well, they were just such a huge, huge help. throughout this whole thing. Ahmed, who you guys have seen in a lot of videos of mine, his mom was over, and I was able to ask her like a billion questions. I actually spent Eid with him and his family because Tanzim was in Australia, and yeah, like they just opened up their home to me, and I felt like one of them, you know what I mean? Like his mom is just so sweet, and yeah, I'm just so thankful to have friends like that and people who are able to support me, especially in a time like that. And of course Jude, if you are watching this, I did not forget. He helped a lot as well. Tanzim's mom, who is such a lovely woman, honestly. She used to cook food for me during Ramadan because obviously I was doing Ramadan by myself here at home, on the down low as well, like it was a secret. And so when it was time to wake up, she wanted me to have like food and that I didn't have to you know, worry about having enough food to eat and stuff like that. And we used to break our fast at Tanzim's house with his mom and everything. And yeah, it was just, she's very sweet, and I'm so thankful to have someone like her as well. Last but definitely not the least is obviously Tanzim. Tanzim and I have been through a lot together, and it's just made us stronger and stronger. And I'm just so blessed to have someone like Tanzim in my life, and to have that amount of support and unconditional love. And it's just, he's helped me through everything. I know I'm crying, I can't even speak properly. Where's that piece of tissue? Everything, like everything good that you can think of, Tanzim's probably done it already. And I must have done something right to have someone as wonderful as him. I'm all over the place. Okay, I'm more composed now. Anyways, no words can like give justice to what Tanzim has done for me. So yeah, of course you guys played such a big part in helping me in my journey. All your stories, all your congratulations to me, and all your support for me and my channel has just, it's been wonderful. And I hope that you guys will continue to support this channel and support my journey and all of that. And I'm just very thankful of how everything, the whole outcome, it's just, it was unimaginable to me at the time, that like before I came out as a Muslim. I was expecting the worst, and I got the absolute best in my opinion. And you know, it's wonderful. This entire experience has just strengthened my Imaan and made me more and more passionate about Islam. And if you are, you know, currently going through the hardships, currently, you know, learning about Islam, and you're scared, and you feel guilty because you're hiding something from your family, and you're scared of what they're thinking or how they're going to react and stuff like that, I just want you guys to know that, you know, I went through it, and I am more than happy to, you know, have a conversation with you guys. You can reach me on Facebook, you can private message me, you can reach me here, private message me on the YouTube messaging thing, although it's not that great. But the two main platforms that's really great to reach me at is Facebook and Instagram. You could leave me a direct message on Instagram. I do get quite a lot of messages, but I will one way or another get back to your message. This video is super duper long, and I really do apologize, but I hope that this video helped you or anyone you know somehow. And that's all I want for this video, to be able to reach those who are in need of help and in need of this message and this story. And if you ever need someone to talk to, again, I would love to talk to you guys and help you in your journey. And I think that it's really good to connect with people who are going through the same thing, or who went through the same thing, like other converts or people who are wanting to convert into Islam and all of that. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna cut this video now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and inshallah I see you tomorrow.